Good morning, everybody. It is slightly early, 9:13 a.m., December 26th, the day after Christmas. A busy slate of NBA games last night, yesterday, obviously, Christmas Day. A tradition, really. A tradition unlike any others. Christmas Day, NBA games. Unfortunately, not a lot of these games were great, but there was a one big moment. Obviously, we're just gonna lead off with the Mavericks and the Suns. If you're watching this and wondering what the fuck is wrong with me, why am I maneuvering so strangely? Well, my back hurts badly, guys. I'm trying everything I can in my power to fight these demons that I'm currently battling in my lower back. But it's a struggle. The Mavericks beat the Suns 128-114. Let's start with this game. A lot to talk about, a lot to take from this. Okay? First and foremost, Luka Doncic, 50 bomb. A lot of talk on the timeline, and I'm excited because I'm going to post a video later today on my channel about, obviously, about Luka. Tapping into that well once again. I mean, how can you not, though? How can you not? A lot of talk on the timeline about this being the best game of Luka's career, maybe. A lot of talk. I've seen some people. I saw somebody tweet out that this is one of the best playmaking games they have ever seen, and it was like a legit NBA guy. At least I have no idea who he was, but his profile picture looked legit. Looked like one of those scouting. Coaching videos, tape video guys. You guys get where I'm going. Can I say something that might sound a little strange? Might sound a little bit strange because you're going to hear it and be like, what? I think this was a coming out game for Luka. Now, I know you're thinking. He's been 6 years in the league. This is his 6th year in the league. He's been 4-time All-NBA first guy. 4-time All-NBA first team. In 5 seasons. Just absolutely unbelievable. Only two other players have ever done that. Tim Duncan and Kevin Durant. He's already came out in a lot of different ways, right? The playoff series against the Clippers in the bubble. That was really his coming out party for the world stage. Like, hey, I'm here. I'm everything everyone says I am. I'm really that fucking guy. This, though, was like, we've seen this. We've seen this if you've watched the Mavs game. I've talked about this. Luka's reached another level. Another level entirely. Right? And this was an opportunity for casual NBA fans who check into the NBA season on Christmas Day. There's a lot of people who are like that. The media. This was Luka saying, hey, the comparisons to all-time greats, the comparisons to some of the best players in the history of the world, yeah, those are all warranted. I'm him now. I'm that guy. I've reached that level. I'm at an all-time level now. I've been at a Hall of Fame level. I've been at an incredible level for years now. A perennial MVP guy for years now. I'm at like all-time great level currently. That's the level that I'm at. And I think in a lot of ways, this was Luka coming out to the world as that. Luka needed this game for his MVP talk. Yeah, I think that this just propelled him into the top 2 immediately. I don't know how you can't have him at least top 2 after a game like this. And I think he is the most valuable player. I don't know. It's like Luka's at the phase that LeBron was at sometimes, where there was some players who might have had some like better season statistically, or players who some like, granted the advanced numbers always love LeBron, but it was always like if the award was true to its name, the most valuable player, LeBron would win it every single year. Luka, it's like if the award is true to its name, most valuable player, if you've watched the Mavericks at all this season, I don't know how you leave any Mavericks game thinking there's a more valuable player to their team than Luka Doncic this season. I just don't know. I don't know how you can leave with a conclusion other than that. I really don't. Derrick Jones Jr. catching pass and attacking with Lively out of Luka double is so refreshing. Yeah, Derrick Jones Jr. was really good in this game. Luka's building up counting stats. Now with Kyrie out, when Kyrie comes back, the efficiency will go up even more. I mean, what's crazy is he's already 50 points on 25 shots is insane. That's nuts. 15 assists and 4 turnovers is very good. That's a very good ratio. Like, he's already being uber efficient. That Rockets game tells you everything you need to know about Luka being MVP. Well, they were also out a lot of guys. It wasn't just Luka. But yes, I mean that adds to his case. You watch the Sixers and they nearly beat the Heat without Embiid. I mean, the Heat don't have Jimmy Butler, but like I don't know, man. Larry Bird never reached these heights. All right. See, I don't know if I'm willing to go that far. Larry Bird is a multiple-time MVP champion. I like where the energy's at. See, what I'm saying right now, when I'm saying he's reaching all-time level, on-court play. Now, to actually be compared to those greats and to actually be considered that, you do have to win. You do have to win at the highest level. And so let's talk about this. Let's segue into this. Now, the Suns are fucking terrible. We're going to talk about them in a bit. They do nothing for me at all. We're going to talk about them. We're going to look at their subreddit. They don't do much for me. I think they're an average to below average team currently, which is shocking because when they went on their 7-game winning streak earlier in this year, I got tricked. I thought, I was like, all right, this is who I think this team could be. A championship level team or a championship contender, maybe on the outside looking in, but a team that if they get hot in the playoffs, you don't want to see them. I want to see them now. I'm sorry. I got sucked in. And it's not like, oh, well, you got sucked in during a 7-game winning streak and now all of a sudden you're changing your tone after they're like, yeah, I'm fucking changing my tone. Yeah, I am. This shit is sad. What the fuck are we? Why is KT on private? Streets need them to start making out. KD frustrated with his team? Okay. If I got super high on the Suns after a winning streak, why do I get so low on them after a rough stretch? Here's why. Vibes are in the toilet. I can live with a team sort of struggling a little bit if the vibes aren't in the toilet entirely. The vibes are absolutely in the toilet. Kevin Durant was pathetic in this game. Pathetic. 16 points on 4 of 11, only shot 11 times, 6 turnovers. His defense was atrocious. Not rotating, missing rotations, not even putting a hand up under the basket. His defense was abysmal. He looked terrible. And I don't know what's going on. I think he is just frustrated. Brendan Klein last night. This is some of the best Durant defense I've seen in weeks. Well, that's bad. That's really bad then. That's really bad if that's true. I thought he was terrible. I thought he was terrible. Derrick Jones Jr. was going at him at the rim, and Kevin Durant has been an underrated defender for a lot of his career, especially recently. And he does some things with like rim protection stuff where it's like, hey, that's kind of interesting. Dude, Derrick Jones Jr. was just going at him like he wasn't even there last night. Derrick Jones Jr. God bless him. Derrick Jones Jr. has been great for the Mavericks. But he just waltzed into the paint. Kevin Durant, hey, I'm 7 feet tall. Derrick Jones Jr., yeah, I don't give a fuck. Here's a layup. He also said the Suns were exposing Luka on defense. Was this after the game? Surely during. Huh. I think maybe he got. You know what I think it is? I've just not thought about this. I think a TV glitch happened. When you get to the end of the year, computers can get weird. Some stuff in there, the data can get strained. I think what happened was his TV was accidentally broadcasting a game from a year ago. I think that's probably what happened. And he just didn't realize it throughout the night. Just an unfortunate situation. But that's the only way it makes sense. Kevin Durant walks straight out. I have to be honest with you. I don't really care about players walking straight off the floor after like losses. You know, I know in the NBA nowadays, like everyone daps each other's up and everything. They dap each other up and all this stuff. I don't care when a player leaves without shaking hands. To me, it doesn't. To me, a guy's just. Wait, why is this a Nets account tweeting this? You guys are frustrated. It is what it is. But this coming after there were reports earlier in the day that he was like very frustrated with the situation. It is a little juicy. It is a little juicy. Now, I think what's more interesting beyond that. What's more interesting than that? Let's rewind the tape. There goes Kevin Durant walking off the court. Okay. You see Devin Booker going this way. Now, Kevin Durant's going this way. The Suns locker room is this direction. Devin Booker is walking a completely different way. Why does that matter at all? You're probably wondering. Wait, let me find the tweet. There was a tweet going around that where the fuck did that tweet go? There's a tweet going around that Devin Booker went the opposite tunnel, ran down the opposite tunnel, and Matt Ishbia ran after him. Now, I need. Is that true? Because that to me sounds like it's like some fake fan fiction thing. But if that's true, that's hilarious. Here it is. Book, not at all happy, sprints it off the court, opposite of the Suns tunnel. Ishbia right after him. As I would love to see this. But Booker sprinted out the tunnel like he was running away from home, and Ishbia was like the dad trying to chase him down. Like, hey, you can't go out onto the fucking street. Hey, it's 4 p.m. There's cars everywhere. Get out of the street. That's hilarious. Is Grant Williams cooked offensively or just slumping? He's just, cooked offensively like what? Like, what does that even mean for a guy like Grant? Cooked offensively. Ishbia should have baited Luka like he did with my Serbian husky with the door open. Yeah, I mean, that's what it sounds like. Unbelievable. I mean, this is just hilarious. The Suns built a team around 3 often injured superstars, a bunch of minimum guys. And again, I think they did a pretty decent job of building their roster with minimum guys, considering the circumstances. But again, those minimum guys, Eubanks fucking stinks. Okay. Eric Gordon's had some moments here and there. But he's Eric Gordon. He's older. Grayson Allen's been pretty good for them. And not insanely good, but pretty good. Metu played well against the Mavericks. Like, look at this. I mean, look at these guys. Watanabe was supposed to be like their most interesting pickup. He doesn't even play anymore. The Suns lost a pick for Eubanks. Was that who they lost their pick for? And they had 2 minimum guys play amazing last night. Grayson Allen's not on a minimum, is he? They traded for him, right? He was part of the Ayton deal. But yes, I get where you're coming. Yeah, I mean, you can't blame the role players last night if you're the Suns. You know, you can't blame your lack of depth if you're the Suns. Your superstars straight up did not show up in the game. Booker, he's just not a point guard. He's just not. They're doing him a disservice. I didn't think he was like horrendous or anything, but the offense is just so weird. It's just not as crisp and clean as it needs to be. Kevin Durant was a fucking joke. Like I'm willing to say that because it really felt like he This felt watching the Suns game last night felt like watching this Mavs team a year ago, where they were just the body language is terrible. They look checked out. They look like they're just so fucking done with the season already. No, Utah's been terrible. Remember that Michael Pena article calling Devin Booker the best point guard in the NBA? Yeah, I remember pretty vividly. To be fair, though, I don't know. I don't know anything about Michael Pena. I don't read his stuff or listen to his stuff. But he is a ringer guy. And I know that Bill Simmons doesn't consider Luka a point guard. So could that maybe be what we're talking about here? Could that maybe be the situation at hand? Is that we're getting a little bit loose with what we consider, what are we getting very tight with what we consider point guards and what are the positions? And Luka's night overshadowed Derek Lively's. The second game after missing Derek Lively's second game after missing 10 plus days is a little sad to me. Luka needs to shine. Luka needs it. Listen, guys, if you're a Mavs fan, if you're a Luka fan, Luka needs all the hype after. That's what you need. This is how these things start. This is how MVP run start. The narrative-driven award. Narrative-driven award. Going out on Christmas night and doing this on national television. At the late game, too, like some people are in bed, but the NFL games are winding down. It was another fucking disastrous blowout game in the NFL. What a snooze fest! What a snooze fest that shit league is. So anyways, people start tuning in. Let's see, Suns, Mavericks. Oh, yeah, I remember that from a couple years ago. They hate each other. Man, HBO really ruined that team. If they had just stayed and moved off CP3 money and traded 8, they would have been in a great spot. Yeah, I mean, this team made the finals 2 years ago, guys. 2 years ago with what was a pretty exciting core with Booker and obviously Chris Paul was getting older. But Booker, Mikal Bridges, DeAndre Ayton, Cam Thomas. Now, in their defense, the Ayton bridge felt burned. Like that just felt like you had to move on from him. And has Ayton really done anything in Portland that's, made you think, oh, wow, the Suns, I can't believe they traded him away. No, he has not. I've actually watched a fair amount of Portland, and I can tell you that has he been better than Nurkic? I don't even know. Actually, I would say no. I don't think he has been better than Nurkic, believe it or not. Could Book and Mikal and Cam have won a championship? Now, you probably would have had to go get somebody. I think ultimately it always was, especially when Chris Paul ages out, which he was quickly doing, and we need another like legit guy next to Book. Mikal is probably the guy who's a casualty of that. And if it's Kevin Durant, then you're like, hell yeah, let's go. Now Kevin Durant's 35. This season, I'm not going to say it looks a loss for you because you still have a great 1-2 punch, Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, when they're both locked in. And you do have Beal coming back. Beal's not a point guard. I know that they said in the offseason they're going to run Beal as a point guard. Beal's not a fucking point guard. Okay? Booker's not a. That stuff matters when the game slows down and you need a guy who can just kind of captain the ship for you. Nurkic didn't play in this game and they missed him, but he's cooked food. I mean, this Dallas team, imagine Kyrie back. What would they do to this Suns team in a playoff setting? With Nurkic manning their defense, the center of their defense. I mean, that's cooked food. That is like you think this game's crazy for Luka. He might do a whole series. He might average 50 and 15 over the course of an entire series. Mikal wearing a Mavericks jersey in the 24 season is going to crush Suns fans. Mikal's been interesting this year. I know like bringing up the Nets is random. Mikal's been interesting to see. I think I can kind of pass off his defensive decline as having the ball a little bit more offensively, and usually that means guys struggle a little bit defensively. But it's interesting. some of these guys like Mikal and OG, these guys who could have netted like multiple first round picks in the past, the defense isn't where you want it to be. Like you need, if you're going to trade multiple first round picks for guys like that, you need them playing like defensive player of the year level defense. Yeah, Mikal's definitely netting multiple first round picks. For sure. No doubt about that. But I'm just interested. It's interesting. I'm honest. You see Luka say nobody's going to ask about my defense? Yeah, what's funny about that is people thought Luka was joking whenever he said in the post-game presser that he should be second team all defense at least. I don't think he was joking at all. I think Luka actually believes that, which, you know what? Hey, I love it. Do I think Luka's been a top 10 defender in the world? Of course. No. But I do love the fact that he thinks he has to have 3 first in the offseason plus about $39 million in expiring assets. Yeah, so I don't know if we've talked about this on the show, but it is getting close to January, and it is getting close to like trade time. I haven't really entertained a lot of trade talks because I just think it's way too early in the year for it. December trades rarely ever happen, but January, yeah, that's fair game for me. Completely go crazy with the trade stuff. I think I talked about this with Nick off air. I actually don't think the Mavericks are going to do anything. I know that sucks to hear. I know that stings because you watch games like this and you're like, oh man, if they did this or they did that, they could really be a contender this season. When you look at the contracts they have available, there's no real expirings. You know, you have like Marquise Morris, you trade. You have like I think that's honest to God it. I honestly don't think there's another expiring deal on the entire team outside of that. You have a bunch of like non-guaranteed guys, like Exum's non-guaranteed. You're not trading him because he's performing at the way that he's performing. His contract is an incredible value. Sean Holmes player option. I got news for you. That shit's getting picked up. Markieff Morris, Derrick Jones Jr. You're not trading Derrick Jones Jr. Then the two-way guys. So you have $4 million in expiring contracts, and one of those expirings in Derrick Jones Jr., you're not really wanting to trade. Like, who are you upgrading Derrick Jones Jr. from for $4 million? No one in the league. And they also have part of the Seth Curry trade exception left, or Rashawn Holmes, I'm sorry. Rashawn Holmes. Davis Bertans trade exception left with $4.9 million. I think the move is probably the move could be, and we definitely did this off show where we looked through some of the contracts in the league and who was around this mark, $4.9 million. Drummond does make the most sense. A second for Drummond, and Drummond gets absorbed into this or something like that. That makes the most sense, right? You get like a big backup center who can rebound, do things for you, and, you know, is a very, very solid backup big. That addresses a need for you. It makes the most sense. It fits right into your exception. Boom, a second round pick. The Bulls, I mean, why not? Like, why would you not do that at this point? Torrey Craig is an option too. I just, And I think that might be it. I don't envision them doing anything crazy. I thought maybe that they would, and they usually do something around the trade deadline. I think every year of Luka's career, they've made a trade. Some of them have been really big. In fact, most of them have been sizable. KP trade year 1. What was the year 2 trade? I'm trying to remember. Was year 2 JJ Redick? What was the year 2 trade? I'm actually really interested in that. Dallas Mavericks 2020 trade deadline. Mavericks stand fast at the trade deadline. Oh, then maybe they didn't. Usually they make a trade every single year. I thought that was the case. Oh, they traded a second round pick to the Warriors for Willie Cauley-Stein. Okay, so they made a Willie Cauley-Stein trade in 2020. That's right. Then 2021 was the Colomelli, JJ Redick trade. Those will probably be along the lines of what you see. Instead of the Kyrie Irving blockbuster trades or the trading away KP or the trading for KP. More than likely going to be a move along the lines of Willie Cauley-Stein, which would be Andre Drummond, a second-round pick. Just makes the most. Anyways, we got really derailed there. I really didn't want to get trade talk yet, but maybe it'd be better just to have continuity for once. Yeah, and I think that's what they want to do, really. And then the summer comes around, and then you can reassess. I could see a Green plus Holmes move, but like, for what? Harden fans don't say ball don't stop. Dude, ball don't stop was on a fucking spree last night. Ball don't stop was an absolute madman yesterday with some of the absolute worst takes I've ever seen. And he has some bad takes. But I respect his hustle. I get it. Or Hooper. And I get what he's doing too. Like he rarely ever says anything super negative about a guy. Drummond would be dope, but if Denny's available, then I'd be in on sending Hardy Green in a second for Denny. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I think Denny would cost first. He's been good for them, and I think they like him. But if you could get Denny for not much, I definitely would be interested in that. I just don't know if that's hard. Yeah, I fucking hate when people do this. Like, oh my God. You want to know something? The fan energy was different this year. He said in this one. Remember that, but still, remember the energy. Keep the same energy. Man, why don't you keep the same energy? If you were hyping up James Harden every time he had a game like this, then shut the fuck up and hype up Luka. Okay? That's it. Stop crying. The hell are you even crying about? Jesus. It's so annoying. Hey, James Harden won an MVP. Do you remember that? Why are people weird about James Harden? I don't know. He's diarrheaed his pants every single fucking time he's made the playoffs. That probably has a lot to do with it. You know? that probably has a little bit to do with it. These gaudy regular season stats, but diarrhea shits himself in the playoffs every single fucking year. That probably has a little bit to do with it. You know, Luka's second all time in playoff points per game. No, they're not the same players at all. They play very different styles. There's similarities there, obviously. Why does he edit every single tweet? This one was nuts. Suns should look at guys like Terrence Davis. Like he won an MVP. The league wanted to love James Harden. He couldn't help but shit himself in the playoffs. And then on top of that, he's demanded like 4 trades in 5 years. So he's like soured everyone. Everyone is sour on him. Of course. Naturally. That's how it goes. If Luka from here on out, knock on glass, because he's not going to, because Luka's built differently. If Luka like shits himself in the playoffs, from here on out, the narrative is going to change dramatically regarding. Okay, if Luka demands 4 trades in 5 years, the narrative will change dramatically surrounding him. I promise you that. All right. Suns should look at guys like Terrence Davis. Okay, I'll actually agree with him on this. How was Terrence Davis not on a team? Is something going on there that I missed? Like, is there something amiss there? Hey guys, you're getting a classic. You're getting a classic. You're getting a classic, slightly biased performance here. We've been live for 40 minutes, and I'm still talking about this Maverick. This is a classic one. I am intrigued. I am curious as to why Terrence Davis is not on. Stanley Johnson, okay. Winyan Gabriel, Jalen Noel, Hamidou Diallo. It is kind of weird to me that Hamidou Diallo is not on it currently. Boogie Cousins, for size, and maybe even John Wall as a point guard experiment. Brother. Brother. Like, you know, these guys have been in the league recently. Like, John Wall was on a team. And it was so bad. So bad that he is now currently out of the league. Like, I get it sucks. I get it's sad. I get there was a time when John Wall was incredible and injuries have just sort of derailed that. But hey, man. Casuals may find this hard to comprehend, but the lead guys putting up 25 a game trying to will their team to the playoffs is better than the fourth or fifth options on contenders. A go-to guy is different than a system player behind go-to guys across all areas of NBA. Oh, is this in reference to Derek White? People saying Derek White's an all-star? I don't think Derek White's an all-star. Anytime you say that about a player, you have to immediately say, okay, Derek White's an all-star. Who's not making it? Or if you're counting Derek White as a guard, which guard in the East are you leaving out to put Derek White on your ballot? Are you leaving out Brunson? Because Dame's going to make it. Are you leaving out Trey? You're leaving out a legit 30 and 10 guy to get fucking Derek White in there. That's a joke. That's an absolute. And I love Derek White, but let's get serious for a second. Oh, it was about Derek White. Derek White, high-level role player, but isn't an all-star, not over Hallie Brunson. Oh, hey, I actually agree. I agree 1,000,000%. This is 100% true. There's no world in which... Hold on. Is that who I think it is? Is there another Thomas in the league that I'm not missing out on? Is there another Thomas in the league that... Is Isaiah Thomas back? Is there a time machine and Isaiah Thomas is back? That's hilarious. You know, I really love Bottle. He's one of my favorite Twitter accounts. It's funny to kind of laugh at some of his takes and stuff. This man is tweeting out Dwayne Bacon highlights on Christmas Day. You really got to respect it. You really have to. Dwayne Bacon 40 bombs in China highlights on Christmas Day. Like that's the type of content grind that no one could ever aspire to get. There was some other crazy tweets. OJ man. Real. This is what we're doing. He was doing OJ Mayo tweet. Analytics and politics are the reason guys like John Wall, we've seen it. The guy's not good anymore. It's sad and it's unfortunate. And he was great, and it's sad. It is sad to me that I don't think history is going to remember how legitimately unbelievable John Wall was. Like, legitimately. How incredible he was at his prime with the Wizards. Tyreek Evans couldn't stay off. You know, you want to know how much cocaine you have to be doing to test positive for cocaine? Cocaine's out of your system like fucking that. You have to be like on cocaine to test positive for cocaine. There's a reason why you don't hear a lot of people testing positive for cocaine. It's out of your system immediately. Lance Stevenson, Trey Burke, Isaiah Thomas, Boogie Cousins, Kemba Walker. Come on, man. Saw Kemba Walker. My own two eyes last year. Great, that game he had against the Cavs. But that was it. That was like all he had in his tank. OJ Mayo? Bro. What? OJ? I was pretty much done with the OJ Mayo experience 10 years ago. Like 10 years ago when he was like 25 years old. Will Barton. I don't know. Can you call somebody casual when Kendrick Nunn and Will Barton, two guys who were just fucking disaster, just horrible players. Like these guys were not good in the NBA a year ago. I love the analytics stuff. Like analytics keeping guys out. Yeah, the analytics that say these players are terrible. Like, yes, hey, this analytics says this player stinks, and we just really shouldn't be on a team. Analytics is keeping him out. I'm gonna start using that. That's gonna be my go-to crutch. Anytime something doesn't go my way, analytics are fucking go. I'm gonna go to the bank and ask for $1 million loan. Sir, we're not giving you that loan with your credit. Analytics and politics are keeping me out of this again. So there's no way we can give you that loan with your credit score the way it is. Absolutely not. Analytics yet again. Unbelievable. Sir, you're going to prison for tax invasion. Analytics again, and politics. Unbelievable. Molotov is actually a comedic genius. I don't think so. I do think he maybe plays into it a tiny bit. I respect Molotov. His Twitter is one of the best in the world. I do think he plays into it a tiny bit. I have in the past thought that there was maybe an outside chance that this was some very elaborate troll. Like some very elaborate troll. And if that is the case, if this is some crazy elaborate troll, or if he plays into it, he is one of the greater comedic minds. He's one of the most creative comedic minds in the world. See the vengeance with Bob? Am I going to see? Oh wait, is it the Luka and Christian Wood combining? Christian Wood and Luka Doncic tonight, 50 points, 50-25 shooting, 6 rebounds, 14 assists, 4 steals, 3 blocks. That's you know what is insane about this? Is if you saw this, like if a duo combined for this, that you'd be like, wow, that's a great game. He's a pretty smart guy, for being honest. Dude runs like a million events to actually get audience. No, I know. I'm saying I do. I respect his game. I do, 100%. I'm being dead serious when I say I respect ball don't stop. He does. He runs like a pro-am, Toronto pro-am, where he gets like legit NBA guys out there. His Twitter can just be a little off the deep end. All right, I guess we're just going to spend this entire time talking about the Mavs and the Suns. Classic. Okay, before we get into the Suns subreddit, let's just talk about some of the other games. There wasn't a lot. Bucks and Knicks. So I had a Christmas Day parlay. I fucking know. I always say, don't do parlays. Do as I say, not as I do. I had to do them for Christmas. Like I feel like on a Christmas Day game, like, you know, we got to get something going. Parlay cooked immediately. I thought the Bucks would win. But in my defense, I did think to myself, this one's a little bit tough because these two teams just played 2 days ago and the Bucks blew out the Knicks. And in those like baseball series, it's kind of hard to beat the same team twice. You give it a first round. I honestly don't want the Mavericks to give up a first round pick here unless they're getting something crazy. Like I'm kind of cool with them just riding the season out, maybe making some marginal upgrades, but ultimately going into the offseason with kind of a full arsenal to play around with. And you have like a full season and maybe even a playoff run to know exactly what it is you need, the type of guys you're comfortable trading. I don't want to be super loose with first round pick. Because Pat Williams is about to be a restricted free agent, and he wants a lot of money. So if you're trading for him, you're also trading for paying him $20+ million, probably, contractually. So, is that what you want to do? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Jalen Brunson played incredible in this game. The Bucks couldn't shoot well. I mean, that's just really what it is. Quickly was great. Some crazy shot making in this game too. I was watching this game with my grandpa, who does not watch a lot of basketball. He's a big college basketball guy. And hey, you know what? Maybe my grandpa's just a hardcore hooper because he's actually a big women's college basketball guy. You don't see that very often. That's like real hoop head stuff. But some of the shots these guys are making, he would just audibly be like, oh my God. Like Brun's hitting quickly. And Dame got a little bit hot where he was hitting some crazy shots too. Knicks are going to pick quickly what they want. Knicks fans seem to not think so. And Grandpa's just thirsty. No, he loves the Iowa Hawkeyes, so he just like they have Caitlin Clark, so he loves watching them. He loves watching Caitlin Clark play. Who can blame him? What's going on with Lowry? Apparently he's available, but don't even think about it. Not happening. The Mavericks. Nuggets beat the Warriors. A weird game. Yeah. Jokic has now become the face. Why he wants to play with Luka. Okay. If you're the Jazz, you don't care what marketing wants. You're not trading him for what the Mavericks have available for trade, which is like two firsts. It's terrible. I'm not saying the Mavericks shouldn't do it. I'm saying the Mavericks don't have what it takes. Jokic and Steph sinkers. Yeah, this game was underwhelming. It just was. Wiggins was great. And Wiggins has been turning it around a little bit. Wiggins was great. Clay fucking sucked. Again, I don't like doing the, Clay's played well lately. Okay, he's back. Everyone's an idiot for doubting him. No, just wait a little tiny bit. Yeah, Steph is weirdly bad on Christmas games. I saw that stat. Jamal Murray was great in this game. Yeah, it is funny. Jokic becoming the face for foul grifting free throw merchants after getting one game with 18 free throws is so nasty. It really is. It really is. It's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. And it was bad. I mean, they're not wrong. Jokic was getting an absurd whistle in this game. An absurd whistle in this game. But it's fun. And then Steve Kerr obviously goes and cries about it, and everyone on Twitter's crying about it. This is why the NBA sucks. Jokic is a fucking free throw merchant. Jokic never gets. I mean, that's what's really funny about it. Jokic, like, straight up never gets this whistle at all. Jokic is kind of in, like, the LeBron territory with refs. I'm going to say it. The Luka territory with refs. The Steph territory with refs in a lot of ways, where it's like, dude, you're such an impossible cover that we have to let the defense be a little physical on you, or else this is just like you're gonna score 70 points every game. Like, we have to allow some form of physicality against. Unfortunately, that, or I guess not unfortunately, depending on who you ask, that same mindset is not shared with like Joel Embiid, who goes to the fucking free throw line at the smallest amount of contact, who can start his jump shot with the ball damn near touching the ground and rise up through a defender's chest and get a free throw. That's free throws every single time. But yes, Jokic becoming the face of this is really. Luka does his own foul baiting, but the falling over place Embiid does is just another category to me. Luka's a foul baiter for sure. And Embiid's a foul baiter. That's a real skill. That's a real skill to have, foul baiting. And really what it is just getting your defender off balance and generating fouls off of that. Embiid is a full-fledged flop artist and a grifter. I'm sorry. There's no doubting it. Harden at his peak was a grifter. They were grifting. They knew the game. They knew they would get the calls, so they went out of their way to make what would typically be like a non-basketball play in an effort to draw a foul. There was a Luka clip going around a couple of days ago on Twitter where like people were trying to say this isn't basketball, this is bullshit. Where Luka drew a foul on Jeremy Sohan, and that one, yeah, that's foul baiting for sure. But that was a clear and obvious foul that refs are going to call every single time down the floor. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find the clip. Yeah, this one right here. Adam Silver has destroyed defense in the NBA. And why is that? Because did Adam Silver go into Jeremy Sohan's brain? Did Adam Silver take over Jeremy Sohan's brain like a parasite and foul? Is that what we're doing? This is a fucking foul every single time. Yeah, he literally slid up like 3 or 4 steps. 3 steps. They're calling that shit a foul every single time. Is it grifting? Yeah, it is. Is that foul baiting? It is 100%. He bites on a fake, closes out too hard. That's a foul every time. They're going to call that every single time. They just are. Embiid gets shooting foul calls where he's not even facing the fucking rim. Like, you could probably once a game get a still from an Embiid foul call where, like, you guys are the rim and he's like completely turned the fuck around. Basketball Breakdown doubling down on Twitter with you is hilarious. Yeah, I got a Basketball Breakdown who's like the master of determining what is a foul and what isn't a foul. Sided with me. Where is it? Deep in the reply. While there is a movement by Luka towards the basket as he goes up, you have to isolate on Sohan. See, there's clear movement towards Luka, meaning the contact has to be a foul, whether his arms are up or not. I like this new streaming platform, but you can't go full screen on mobile. I haven't gone on mobile. Is Embiid the worst superstar to watch ever? He's not a fun watch. It's a shame because when he's going, he is incredible. Like he is. He's an unstoppable force. I'm really not trying to take away too much from him. He's an unbelievable player. But it's really hard to watch sometimes. I mean, really hard. I do think as the Thunder get better, as the Thunder start to get better and they start to play in bigger games, and I'm sure they're going to have Christmas games in the coming years, more TNT games, playoff games, obviously. People aren't going to like Shea very much. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm telling you how it's going to go. People are not going to like Shea. They're not going to like him. He foul baits quite a bit as well, and he gets a friendly whistle. But I will say Shea's kind of a one-of-one athlete in the NBA currently with how just his like lateral movement and how shifty he is doesn't make any sense. And his deceleration is so fast that, yeah, he's incredibly crafty. He does get like a legitimate amount of foul call. Just because defenders have no idea what to do with him. But he foul baits as well. And he gets a very friendly whistle. I've said this before, like the crafty players always get a much friendlier whistle than the brute force players, right? The big dominant players. Like LeBron, like Jokic. Jokic is crafty, but I mean, he's a bigger guy. You got to play really physical. Like Luka. Like should be Embiid. Giannis. Although I think Giannis's whistle is pretty friendly. He does have times though where, yeah. Skims helps with the shiftiness. But I mean, you guys know Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is my favorite non-Maverick in the league. I love him. I've been loving him, and I've been knowing this about his game. Would a bigger spotlight could shine on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? Oh, people are not going to like him, I don't think, very much. I don't think people are going to enjoy it very much. Just telling you that right now. I've already seen some of it. Just like you warning to people about Lillard once people started watching them more. Yeah, I said the same thing about Dame. Granted, Dame, was in the league a lot longer and been in the playoffs, but yeah, after Dame went trade, I was like, people are going to realize Dame's foul baiting is egregious at times. The talent in the West compared to the East is kind of a joke right now. East is super top heavy. Like, okay, let's talk about the Celtics really quickly. I said this on the stream last night, and I stand by it. If Tatum was actually performing like a top 10 player consistently, this team would just be like legit unbeatable. You would need 2 legitimate injuries. If they don't win the NBA Finals this year, it's an abject fucking failure and a shit stain on all of their legacies. That's where they're at. If they do not win the NBA Finals this year, I like borderline don't want to hear about them. I don't care. Why can't they get it done? That needs to be the next question. What is it? What is it about Tatum leading a team that can't get it done? What is it about a Tatum-Jaylen Brown duo that can't get it done? They still have some shaky clutch stuff. I'm still taking Denver. And again, that would lead to the question, why can't they get it done? They are head and shoulders better than anybody else in the league, talent-wise. And somebody made a great point, is that their three-point shooting is so lethal. They didn't shoot well from three this game, but throughout the season, it's been so lethal that they're usually playing at a math advantage against you anyway. And this is what, like, the Mavericks do, where they bomb away from three and they are good at shooting threes and good at generating great looks from three, that they're at a math advantage against you. And that gives you a great chance to win games, even in games where you're at a bit of a talent disadvantage, just because your scoring is going to keep you in game. The Celtics can have that math advantage, but still be more talented than any other team in the league. People are talking about KD not being happy and not Luka's 50-piece on ESPN shit show. Yeah, what a horrible dog shit ass network. Terrible. They're horrible. If Embiid is that guy, he should beat the Celtics eventually, right? Embiid. Well, I mean, they would meet in the conference finals, right? Let's just see. Celtics. Well, actually, the Celtics right now would, if I just had to make a prediction, first round is just going to be one of the dog shitters from the East, like a team that would get routed in round one. He's playing Cavs in their current construction, post Donovan Mitchell trade, gonna get fucked. Pacers annihilated. Nets, Bulls. The Bulls are in a play-in spot currently, guys. The Chicago Bulls are currently in a fucking play-in spot. Hawks, I mean, these teams are getting destroyed in a 4-game series against the Celtics. Then what? Round 2 would be the Knicks, maybe the Heat or the Magic. Maybe the Cavs could sneak in. Maybe the Cavs could end up being like a 4-5. Magic are just too young. Heat. The Magic have played. The Magic beat the Celtics, and then the Celtics like got their revenge on them and just found them twice. Can you imagine this juggernaut dream team-esque Celtics team losing in round 1 to the Heat? That would be funny. So their path to the conference finals is going to be like, again, one of these horrible playing teams from the East. And Heat, Magic, Knicks. Yeah. Versus the Western Conference, like Timberwolves or Nuggets, 1 seed, have to go up against like the Warriors. I know the Warriors are a shell of their former selves, but I'm not like jumping up and down as a 1 seed about the idea of playing them in round 1. Like, that kind of sucks. The Hornets at 7 wins are only 6 games out of the play-in. I feel like at this point 6 is kind of a lot. Like, the Blazers have 7 wins and they're 7 games out of the play-in. But then you got to look at it like, well, the Hornets only have 2 teams to jump. The Blazers have 3 or 4 technically. If playoffs were to start today, the Mavs would take on the Kings in round 1, which would be a fun series. But like, yeah, if you're a 1 seed, I mean, shit, the Clippers could fall into the play-in. I got to play the fucking Clippers in round 1? I'm a 1 or a 2 seed, and my reward is playing Kawhi Leonard in the first round. I got to play LeBron James and Anthony Davis first round? I'm the 1 seed? How did that happen? I have to play Kevin Durant and Devin Booker in the first round? Versus, oh my God, I'm playing the Chicago Bulls in the first round. Do we have to play this series? Like, hey, Adam Silver, is there some type of rule we can enact? Like, we might rest guys. We might rest guys during the series. Has that ever happened? Surely not. Has there ever been like a, hey, we're up 3? I think it's happened in the sense that, like, team is up 2-0 or a team's clearly going to win the series and a guy's kind of dealing with like an ankle injury. And it's like, all right, you can rest. Like, we're okay. Suns and Warriors are just racing to get all their pieces back to not fall out of the playoffs. Draymond and Beal are the tipping point for those teams. I would say for the Warriors, that's a little bit more true. For the Suns, though, what is, like, okay, watching that game last night, what does Beal change for them? What does Beal bring to the table that's shifting that game last night? Anything at all? No. No. Beal's not changing a single thing that transpired last night. Like, the Mavericks are winning that game probably the same exact way. All right. Let's close out the stream by looking at the Suns subreddit. KD gave up in the last few minutes. Luka since becoming a dad. How many games now is that? I mean, that's like a month ago, isn't it? That's like an entire month ago? No, it's more than 8 games. 12, 37 points per game, 9 rebounds, 11.5 assists on 49% from the field, 39% from 3, 80% from the free throw line. Dude, that's fucking insanity. Yeah. Damn near a 40-point triple-double. All-time elite player that was always held back by criticism on the defensive end. I love GD Map 77. Held back by criticism on the defensive end. No. His defense has been pretty bad at times, but it has been much improved.
Tomorrow I can't wait to see her, so that's the big impact. Nobody's gonna ask me about my defense, but okay. 4 steals, 3 blocks.
Hey, I love it though. I really do. I love it. Yeah, the KD stuff is really weird. Really. I'm interested in seeing Damian Lee wishes the fans that attendance Merry Christmas and ends with stick with us. Just trust me, stick with us. Oh fuck yeah, Damian Lee. Tabby dot. I would love to see what they were saying when Woj said that there's some weird stuff going around because they hate Woj. Steph is the highest guy all time that is basically a non-factor on defense. He's not bad, but not a positive on that side of the court. I mean, Magic wasn't a great defender either. Yes, Eric Gordon said he wants more shots. And you know what? I'm willing to read into this shit. Kevin Durant was saying after the game that he didn't shoot a lot, but guys like Metu and Eric Gordon was going off. Then he ended it with, I was providing some good space. That feels a little shoddy, right? That feels a little like, some a little attitude there. Yeah, I provided great space. What do you think? Time to move on from point book. Top scheduled payment. I didn't realize I put a Christmas gift on a payment plan. Must have did that accidentally. Put like a $60 gift on a payment. Metu and Allen can hold their heads high, but the Suns won't win games until their stars start playing like stars. Disasterclass. Why is Eubanks getting minutes still? I'm so happy. I almost tweeted something opening night that I'm happy I didn't. Eubanks was having a pretty good game opening night, and Nurkic was fucking terrible. I almost tweeted Eubanks is going to be the starting center of this team come December. And well, he was on Christmas night. Thank God I didn't tweet that. Suns and Cardinals, not a single win in 3 years on Christmas or Christmas. First time to watch the Lakers. Dejounte Murray. Dejounte Murray trade room heating up in a pretty real, significant way. To the Knicks, too. I think the biggest concern is that Booker looks absolutely fucked. LOL, KD being checked out or having a shit game is the least of our worries. His shoes? They think it's the shoes? We're still like a month and a half away from the NBA trade deadline. Things aren't going to really start significantly heating up like mid to end January. That's when things start to like significantly. No. I don't fucking want. I can't wait for the 1 hour expose someone makes on YouTube about the decay of the Suns via Matt Ishbia. Maybe if the Suns drafted Luka, Book and Luka would be brothers. Said, who's Mick D? Failed us, and Booker's now never-ending joke on NBA Twitter. McDonald's? They got too many McDonald's in the Phoenix area. They were a little bit worried about Luka. I guess that makes. Positives, we found something with Metu, and he needs a bigger role in this team. Hey, man, I'm giving you a fair warning. Metu only does this shit against the Mavericks, okay? Just a fair warning. Don't expect it against anyone else. It's only against the Mavericks that Metu does this. Just a heads up. Our defensive scheme is too much for this team. They are lost. Offense is incredibly basic. We run virtually no unique screens or actions to give Booker KD space. We signed like 10 vet men guys who are good at one thing on the basketball court and have asked them to do more. And they have almost all of them looked awful because of it. Yeah, literally the Mavericks. Oh, and they hate Vogel. This team is just fully lost on confidence if we don't want to make a trade this season. If we don't want to make this season a write-off, we genuinely need to sack. I don't know where I got trade from. If we don't want to make this season a write-off, we genuinely need to sack Vogel and go for a change. Otherwise, nothing is saving this team. We have no assets to do anything. Even back Vogel for going. Who do they like? What do they think? Firing a coach mid-season is a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to do. Changing your offensive scheme, and changing how you play basketball mid-season is a hard thing to do. Feels worse than the 19-win years. Expectations. There are like moments where it's like, man, when you expect a lot out of your team, like last year was the most miserable Mavericks season I've ever fucking experienced. Worse than any season where like they were tanking or being terrible. Like the Rondo year was a close second. But last year was just like such a disaster. I hated every moment. I really did. And I grew to like hate the team. Not like the players individually, I just hated that collection of players. I hated watching them. I hated being a part of it. Rondo year wasn't that bad in my opinion. They still made the playoffs and were like somewhat competitive against a good Rockets team. We keeping the worst net rating in the fourth. Suns are better with the Dragic, Bledsoe, and IT triple threat. Yeah, Gerald Green, the high-flying dunker. Always a monster. Whew. All right, guys. It's a whole hour talking about this. Is peak slightly biased right here. I'm still trying to learn how to fit into that pocket on Locked On Mavs. A 30-minute podcast where I'm a co-host. I can literally go on. I can literally just go on for hours. Pretty busy slate of games tonight. Pistons could become the longest losing streak in the history of basketball if they lose tonight to the Brooklyn Nets. Very much a possibility. I feel badly for them because teams have openly talked about now, hey, we don't want to be the team, so we're taking these games very seriously. Magic and Wizards, Hawks, Bulls. It's been a while since we've seen some of these teams. No games on Sundays, and of course, I don't think any of these teams played yesterday. I think they gave all of the Christmas Day games teams a day off. Thankfully, no back-to-back. So, you and Nick have developed pretty good chemistry on Locked On Mavs. Yeah, Nick makes it much easier for sure. I mean, there's not a lot of good games. Timberwolves Thunder is juicy. That is a prime matchup. Grizzlies and Pelicans is fun too. These teams just played. Pacers and Rockets is fun. Okay, never mind. There are some pretty fun games sandwiched in here. The 7 o'clock slot. Again, Adam, you have the 4 fucking best games of the night, all starting at the same exact time. In the meantime, we have dog shit games starting an hour before and dog ass games starting 2 hours. Anyways, guys, thank you all for coming out. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can catch these live on playback.tv/slightly biased every morning, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you're watching this on playback.tv/slightly biased, you can catch the recordings of these podcasts or shows or episodes or live streams over on YouTube at the Slightly Biased Clips channel. I love you guys. Always remember.